Hello, grade 9s. We're going to look at a lesson here called Multiplying Monomials by Polynomials. So this is what we've done in class, but I've kind of shown you all the work here. So hopefully you remember. So we're going to use algebra tiles and the area model to find each product. So here's the first question. It's 3x multiplied by negative 2x plus 4. That's a monomial. That's a binomial. So in this question, we draw that TP like I did here. We put the 3x along the side. Notice they're positive 3x's. And then we put this along the top. So there's my negative 2x's and my positive 4. And we fill the TP with the shapes that correspond. This one's got to be x long by x wide. Since this is a positive, and that one's a negative, positive, negative, this one will be negative. So we notice we have negative, 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 negative. Those are x squareds. So that's why my answer has negative x squared here. And then here in all of these spaces, I have to fill tiles that are 1 unit wide by x long. So those are x tiles, and they're positive because a positive and a positive make positive. So we have 12 of them when we fill that space. So the answer is we have positive 12x's. So the final answer, negative x squared plus 12x's. In this question we noticed that we draw the TP. We put this 2x along the side. There it is, 2x's. 3x minus 5 along the top. We fill the space up. These tiles have to be x long by x wide. Positive, positive, they're positive. So we have an x squared, an x squared, an x squared. We have 3 down here, so altogether we have 6x squared. And over here we have, here's our negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have to have shapes that are negative 1 unit by x long. A positive here with a negative makes all of these tiles negative. So 5 here and 5x negative x's here. That all together we have negative 10x, and that's our answer. Our answer is always what's in the TP. And over here we have 2y, which is a longer version of an x. So the 2y's are along the side, and these are along the top. Notice my x's are negative, they're white, and they're a little bit shorter. So x's, and we have positive 3, 1, 2, 3. So we need shapes that are y long by x wide, and since it's a negative and a positive, these will be negative. So they're an xy negative tile, another xy negative, another, and another. So we have 4 xy tiles, but they're negative 4 xy's. Here we have a y, we need a shape that's y long by 1 unit wide. A positive with a positive, these are positive y tiles. We have 3 here, 3 here. So altogether we have 6y tiles, positive 6y. There's our answer in the TP, negative 4xy plus 6y. Okay, eventually what we want to do is we want to find a shortcut or a rule so that we don't have to draw these algebra tiles. So we'll just go directly from the question right to the answer, and hopefully you remember the rule, but we'll get there shortly. So I'm going to show you another simplified model. This is an area model, also called the box method. Sorry about that. So we're going to use the simplified area model or the box method to find the answer. So I'll just show you here. So we have a monomial times a binomial. So the box looks like this. We draw a box, and we put a line through the middle in this case. We put the 3x along the side, and we don't draw tiles, we just actually write in that 3x. And along the top, we're going to put 4x minus 7, but we're going to split it up. We're going to put the 4x in this half, the negative 7 in this half. And inside this box, we're going to multiply 3x times 4x. And from a previous lesson, what you do is you go 3 times 4, 12. And x times x is x to the power of 2, because this has an exponent 1, so does that. So you keep the x, but you add the exponents. So 12x squared in that half. And over here, we're going to multiply 3x times negative 7. And again, you go 3 times negative 7. That's negative 21. And the x is still part of it, so it's negative 21x. And there's our answer. 12x squared minus 21x. Okay? Again, if you can probably see a quick shortcut by just looking at the question going directly to this answer. Okay? And over here, box method for this, or simplified area, we draw our box same way, line down the middle. We put this along the side, negative 2y. We put the 4y plus 6 along the top, but the 4y here, positive 6 right here. So in this box here, we're going to multiply negative 2y times 4y, multiply the coefficients, or those numbers. That's negative 8. Y times y, y to the power of 2. Over here, we have a positive 6 times negative 2y. We multiply negative 2 and 6. It's negative 12y. And there's our answer. Okay? So we can see the rule is actually quite simple, right? You notice that in this first question, in order to get 12x squared, we multiply this monomial by this monomial. This times this gives you 12x squared. And then this times this, negative 7. 3x times negative 7 gives you negative 21x. So you multiply this is called the distributive property. We multiply this times this, and then this times that. And that gives us our answer. Same thing here, we can see negative 2y. This times 4y gives us negative 8y squared. And then negative 2y times positive 6 gives us negative 12y. That is called the distributive rule, or the distributive law of math. Okay? So we're going to use that rule to look at, I'm going to quickly go through the answers to these questions. We're going to use the rule called the distributive property to quickly find each product without drawing TPs and simplified area models. Okay? So we multiply negative 3x, times 2x. So that's negative 3 times 2x. That's negative 6x squared. And then we go negative 3x times positive 8. And that's negative 24x. Okay? So here we go we go 5y times x. So when y's and x's multiply, they simply join together. So this x has actually a 1 in front, so 5 times 1 is 5, and x times y is xy. So 5y times x is 5xy, and 5y times negative 11, we multiply 5 and negative 11, that's negative 55y. Okay, this one right here, negative 6 times 4 is negative 24x, and then negative 6 times negative x, negative 1x, right? So that's negative 6 times negative 1 is positive 6. X times x is x squared. Okay, D. We have this times this. That is a positive 28x squared. And then we go negative 7x times positive 5. That's negative 35, and it's just an x. No x squared there. Okay, now it gets a little more complicated. We have this times this. So, again, we just multiply the coefficients. So 8 times negative 3, negative 24. X squared, keep the x, add the exponents, x4. Y3, y1, y4. Then we multiply this times this. So 8 times 4 is 32 positive, so positive 32. We have x squared, x with a 1, x to the power of 3, y3, y5, y to the power of 8. Hopefully you're getting that. So here we have negative 2x cubed y4 z5 times this. So we multiply the coefficients. We have negative 18, x5, y6, and the z5 multiplies, it just kind of stays, right? There's nothing really else to change it. And then we multiply this times this, and we get negative 2 times negative, this is a negative 7 in here, right? This is all one monomial, so negative 2 times negative 7, that's positive 14. x3, x6 is x9. y4, y2, y6, and z5, z8 is z13. And that's the simplified answer. I'm going to just do one more, and that is, I know there's a few other examples. I'm just going to do this last one because I've got a fraction. So we have negative x this times this. So keep in mind that that means negative x over 1 times x over 2. So when we multiply negative x times, remember we multiply the 2 top, so we get negative x squared. 1 times 2 is 2, so that's the first part. Then we go this times negative 3. So this is a negative 1x, so negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3x, and that's our answer there. Okay, so anyway, that's how we multiply monomials by a binomial or other polynomials. So hopefully that helps you, and good luck in the future.